You ever feel like your boss doesn't respect you? In this video, I'm going to be going over 5 signs your boss might not respect you and what you can do about each one. Let's get into it. We're going to be going through a few things that are blatant and a few things that are more subtle. With this information, you can go and take some action to bring some focus to this with your manager or your boss, or you can basically just move groups or move jobs to try to get away from this toxic boss that doesn't respect you. Example 1, your boss disrupts your life without care. Does your boss ask you to come in on weekends or stay late all the time and generally disrupt your life without really giving any pause to how it affects you? That's a pretty blatant sign that they don't respect you. Have you been acting with integrity? Are you worthy of their respect? Is this mistreatment from them? Do they have something else going on in their life that they are so unconscious that they don't think how their actions affect you? These are the things you should start to consider when you decide on which path and which action to take regarding a lack of respect from your boss. But you also need to have a little bit of empathy here. So you need to have some social awareness and social facility to use some influence to try to get your boss to pay more attention to you and what their actions do to you. To wrap up this point, you really just need to have integrity and perhaps start to bring some awareness to your boss that this is affecting you. You could say, I can do it this weekend, but I will not make this a consistent thing. This is a special case that I'm happy to do for you and the team, but this is not going to be I'm in every weekend because that's how it is. So you have to have a bit of social intelligence or social awareness here. And it really just comes to, so you need to have some social awareness and social intelligence and bring up to your boss that they're disrupting your life because they might be stressed out or whatever and not really be paying any attention to you, which leads me into my second point. The second point, your boss forgets or overlooks commitments with you. This can be especially frustrating if there's meetings on the calendar that someone just doesn't show up to, or they kind of dodge you, don't really want to answer the phone. The best way that I found to deal with this is to basically send them a more direct email than you might have saying, hey, I missed you at that call. Let's reschedule for another time, and see if they respond and see what's going on. See if you hear through the grapevine, again, does this person have something else going on in their life? Are they overburdened by work? So don't take things personally. You have to remember Hanlon's razor. So never attribute what could be incompetence, or in this case, lack of awareness, to malice. So there's no need to take any of these things on the list personally because they might not be personal. Now, if you find out later that it is personal, again, I would either try to have a direct conversation about this with this manager, or I would try to probably move groups or companies if it gets that bad. Because sometimes you will have differences with these people and they needn't last forever. So you need to figure this out for yourself. But when it comes down to someone that's dodging meetings from you, what's going on there? Frequently the person's just very busy and is so overburdened with work that they just literally have forgotten. So don't take this personally off the rip. Now, if they do this routinely, then you can start to take things personally, but try to get some more data before you jump to conclusions. Number 3, your boss explains nothing. This is especially frustrating if you're new to this workplace or this organization, because if your boss doesn't explain anything, especially with okay, where do I put my time card in? If you have to do a time card, how do I access the company intranet? How do I do any of this stuff? Where's the IT hotline? Where is all this stuff? If your boss just kind of throws you in the deep end and says, have a good time, and they never explain anything, that's not really setting you up for success. What I would do in this case is write an email to the boss saying, hey, is there someone that can help me on board a bit better? I was lucky enough that they had a program they called them navigators at this company. And this person helped me the first few weeks, and it took the pressure off of my boss. So if your boss is very overburdened again, you shouldn't try to add pressure. You should look at more creative solutions saying, okay, cool. Is there a team lead above me that's not my boss, or, if you're in a functional organization, maybe wherever you're getting your program, that kind of work from, maybe somebody over there can help you on board a bit because they're going to be helping you get on board into your work. And this isn't something where, again, you should attribute lack of attention to malice, but it is very frustrating and usually just a bit of focus or trying to bring some focus and awareness for your boss might get you across the line here. If it doesn't, again, reach out to other people in the group and see if this is consistent. Maybe this person's just a jerk. Some people are jerks. And if the person's a jerk in general, don't take it personally. See what other people in the group are doing to deal with the jerk and consider what they're doing, or consider moving groups or finding another organization. Fourth thing, your boss doesn't consult you in your area of expertise. If you've been working for a while and have become a bit of a subject matter expert in any particular area, if you have a boss or a manager that doesn't listen to your expertise in those particular areas, that can be highly frustrating. I have gone through that myself, and it can be very, very frustrating being undermined by someone that you feel as though might not be as technically sharp in this particular area as yourself. What would I do? As with all these previous examples, you should bring a bit of awareness, and it might not be best coming from you. Maybe have some other subject matter expert correct this boss and basically support your thesis. If there's a technical thing going on and you have a disagreement, maybe finding another subject matter expert, especially if they're even higher up, that can kind of correct them. Then there could be you don't have to turn it into I told you so's. That's not what you want here. But there are ways to get around it from another angle. So you have to make some social ties within your professional network in your group to try to circumvent this. Again, it might not be a betrayal in any way, but it could just be this person thinks they know better where they might not. So again, don't attribute it to malice off the rip. If it eventually turns into malice, there's a variety of things you can do. Normally bringing awareness to it. So you need to act with integrity all the time. That's the number one rule here. You act with integrity, and if you perhaps leave an opening for this boss to kind of fall in, so it's like, all right, well, here's the deal. Here's what I think we should do. And if they want to go down a different path and they kind of take the whole group into an I told you so that kind of blows up, then you can kind of make it known. And this is, again, getting into some serious social intelligence here. You can let the group know, hey, I think we should do this. I'll support you down this other path, but I think this is going to happen. And if that happens, it feels very good for you, but at the same time, don't rub it in that person's face. There will be no value in rubbing this I told you so in the person's face. Perhaps over time this person learns that you actually know more than they thought you did. That's usually the best outcome that I can fathom for this particular example. The fifth and final example, your boss doesn't care how you learn important news. This can be super frustrating if there's some important news thing that you just aren't told. So you have to hear it through the grapevine instead of hearing it directly from your manager or boss. This can feel almost like a betrayal, like a lot of these previous examples, because it seems overt that they've forgot to tell you these things. But again, you got to do some digging. So use that same grapevine to figure out if this might be on purpose, or it's like, okay, is this person very overburdened with work? Are they burned out? Do they have something going on at home and they just forgot? Or did they do this semi-purposefully and there's something more to it? This is where you have to use your social intelligence to not jump the gun or have a knee-jerk emotional reaction to, oh, well, why didn't you tell me this? That's not going to win you any favors here. It really just comes down to doing some digging, using your professional social network, figuring out why this happened. Maybe start using those people in the professional social network to start feeding you this information so that you're not left out down the track, and bring it up to the attention, perhaps in a one-on-one meeting, that, hey, why didn't you tell me this? Just being kind of direct while also offering them a way out. So you're not cornering them saying, hey, I really don't appreciate that you didn't tell me this like this. Like, that's not a socially intelligent thing to do. You need to always offer people a way out. Otherwise, if you put them in a corner, they're going to probably get their claws out. And depending on how this person operates, that could really not end well for you. And if they're already not paying attention to you, that really doesn't sound like a good idea to me. So you need to just have some social awareness. You can bring things up. Again, don't corner the person that's not really giving you the information that you need, but you can bring it up to them and say, hey, why didn't this happen like this? I really wish in the future you would tell me information like this in a more timely manner, because I think it's important that I know this so I can go take the necessary steps to get us ready for it, or whatever the case may be. Well, there you have it. 5 signs your boss might not respect you and a few ways to mitigate them. If you want to learn more about social intelligence, check out my social intelligence playlist up here. Or if you're ready to get back to IQ topics, I got a whole playlist for that down here. Or keep doing what you've been doing and getting the results you've been getting. Hope to see you soon.